Up next, we have David Doyle, who's a senior engineer with Kerry County Council. So look, over to you, David, to present.
Here, okay. So just first of all, background to Killarney. Killarney is located on the shores of Killarney National Park, which is a 26,000 acre bioreserve area. I suppose Killarney suffers from significant traffic congestion during the summer months, and the scheme that we're planning in Killarney and a number of other schemes planned is to kind of give users options to use more active travel modes. Just a couple of stats about Killarney. First of all, Killarney town has a population of about 14,500 people, but during the summer months that increases to about 35 to 40,000, just with a huge influx of tourism. People travel to work, just from stats data here from the Killarney local area plan, 62% use their car to go to work. And the other key factor is what this screen is 41% commute less than 15 minutes to get into work. I suppose from an active travel point of view and just a tourism point of view, Killarney has 37 licensed RVs that have been in operation. So I suppose we've been doing active traveling in Killarney for a long, long time, but I suppose that's a tourism sector. The proposal now is to bring in a fully integrated network of cycle lanes across Killarney town. Just look at Killarney's population. So of the 14,500 people, 12,600 live within a 10-minute cycle of Killarney town centre. So that makes Killarney a compact town and very suitable to the development of active travel infrastructure. So we have an overall plan, and I suppose the lines in red just shows where we currently have planning permission in place. The scheme I'm discussing is the scheme at the top left of the screen there, heading down on the northerly approach from the N22 down to the town centre. But we have planning for the Park Road scheme, which is the scheme heading eastwards, and we have planning links in place for the Flesh cycleway as well. Just to indicate on this map, we have a lot of cycling infrastructure already in Killarney National Park, and on the green line, which is like a greenway out to Fossa, they're already in place. But we have obviously an awful long way to go in Killarney to develop all the cycling infrastructure required to, I suppose, give people the alternative to walk and cycle into the town centre rather than just to use their car. The other key part, I suppose, I'd say just on the screen on the right there, like, well, all the people, 12,600 live in a 10-minute cycle in Killarney town centre. A huge amount of the hotel accommodation and B&Bs are also located in that area. So if we can get an integrated cycling and active travel infrastructure, people will have the opportunity to walk and cycle, not just locals, but all the visitors to the town as well. Look, with funding from the NTA as well, we developed a local transport plan, which is now being incorporated into the Killarney local area plan. That sets out the overall model hierarchy about active travel, public transport and private vehicles. And just last summer, with funding from the NTA, launched the TFI and Show, which is a smart demand responsive transport pilot project in Killarney. We've seen numbers of that now increasing up the last week, I think 1,500 journeys in Killarney town. I suppose prior to this, there is no bus service in Killarney. The only mode of transport is either walking, cycling, or using your car. So all these will help to address, I suppose, the traffic congestion in the town and make the town more active travel friendly. So the scheme that we just developed last year is the Rock Road scheme, linking from the N22 and the Tree approach down to the town centre in Killarney. It's 460 metres of segregated cycle lanes for the northern part of it, and then it links over to a combined shared cycle space with junction upgrades at the new road, Rock Road junction. So again, just look for some photographs. Again, this would have been a former national road leaving Killarney, heading towards Tralee. So we look with very poor footpaths. You can see on the photograph on the top left, no cycling symbols, water resting there on wet days, poor surfaces. So as Joe mentioned earlier, like, this isn't just about cycling infrastructure, it's providing proper walking infrastructure as well. The other element with this project is Kerry County Council did fund separately is the undergrounding of the overhead network. And again, that has made a significant improvement to the overall appearance and aesthetics of this road. And I suppose the key things out of that is, the provision of, especially when you're in an urban environment, not to have mini pillars out in the footpath. So all the ones on that scheme were just cut back into the boundary walls, as shown in the photographs there at the bottom of the screen. Again, look at what the scheme entails is two-metre wide cycle lanes on the segregated section heading north-south with improved footpaths and landscaping, new street lighting, and with fully segregated facilities. We have also introduced 3 raised pedestrian crossings in this scheme to provide safe crossings for the active travel users. and that also benefits significantly with speed reduction, which I'll come to in a while. Just with the junctions, again, using the guidance in the cycle design manual, where traditionally at the screen on the left there, where your normal curve radiator junction, that's now removed, where the curve is totally removed. The curb line comes straight out with the cycle lane and footpath going through at grade, and the traffic, I suppose, rising over the raised area. So that's a photograph here on the left of the completed scheme. Again, 2 meters segregated cycle lanes. The carriageway reduced down to 6.5 meters. We accommodated the bus stops as well. Again, all details, that they're 2 online bus stops. Just a couple of elements on the screen, like where we had existing landscaping and guidance from the NTA inspectors, it was very important that we retain that. So you can see there on the bottom photograph on the left, just where we narrowed the footpath just ever so slightly to retain that landscaping, and that's I suppose it's proved very beneficial that we retain all our, especially our mature trees there. On the photograph on the right, you can see the raised pedestrian crossing, and again, you can see where the scheme ends in, where it links in for the N22 Killarney bypass at the northern end of town. And my colleague Paul Curry, working with the TI, have a scheme developed to convert that junction to a protected junction with cycle lanes heading northward to the housing and play areas north of this area. Just as photographs during the works there, again, look, with the curbing in place, which delineates the traffic area from the cycle lane. There's 60 mil level difference between the cycle lane and the footpath. And you can see the various stages there with curbing installations, the road base, the red cycling surfacing, which really is just defines very clearly the cycling infrastructure. Just other keys, I suppose, in urban areas, the getting walks done to minimise disruption is very important. And on the western side of Rock Road, we use the slip farm curbing. However, on the eastern side, we have a significant amount of house entrances, and you can see the photograph in the middle there where you're shuttering the curb. Okay, that's a very slow operation, very time consuming. So, I suppose from a design point of view, we should have regard to when we're designing our schemes to utilise slip farm curbing wherever possible. Just the last photograph on the right, look, we had just one piece of land acquisition required, but you can see in the photograph where the old line of the footpath was extremely narrow, and then you'll see the finished product here where we've set it back to provide 4 meters chair space approaching that new road junction. Challenges day one with Rock Road, you can see it's very much vehicle dominated, wide road, Farmer National Road, and then the photograph on the right, the carriageway reduced to 6.5 meters with the appropriately provided footpaths and sight lanes. Again, initially just uncontrolled crossings, and then we provide raised zebra crossings, giving full priority to the active travel user. Again, just I'll flick on the photographs here, but again, you can see the vehicle-dominated streets on the left, and then the improved road network on the right-hand side. Just I know Joe mentioned as well, is just that these aren't just active travel schemes. There is significant benefits to for landscaping, improving the overall aesthetics of this of the scheme. So on Rock Road here, we did using our own landscaping crews landscape the project, which really adds to the overall kind of appearance and completion of the completed project. But you can see there just a very narrow footpath and the photograph on the left, and an improved setback wall on the right hand side to give a full active travel 4 meter wide shade space access to that junction. Again here, just showing the photographs on the left, the before pedestrian crossing, and now the completed raised crossing, again, full access for the active travel user. So look, the photograph again on the left is the junction before we commenced. It's a 2-stage pedestrian crossing with no pedestrian crossing on the new road element. And photograph on the right hand shows that realigned junction with the improved crossings, raised crossings, giving full pedestrian access for the active travel road users. That road to new road leads down to 4 schools, so there's about 2,200 pupils accessing that road on a daily basis. So we did allow obviously then for vehicles entering and exiting, and you can see the overrun areas with the curb radii to allow for buses turning in and out there. Again, as I just mentioned with the landscaping, a very key important element of these schemes, and it isn't just active travel infrastructure we're providing, but we're also improving the overall aesthetics of the area. Some look stats regarding the speed reduction. Again, the V85 before the works was 56 kilometers per hour. With our 3 raised pedestrian crossing has now reduced the speed down to the V85 of 43 kilometers per hour. So that alone is providing safe infrastructure, but it's also reducing speeds. We've also put in counters on the on the completed scheme, and you can see that since last March we have 258,000 people have used both the footpaths and cycle lanes on this road. But there's a mirror of data you can gather, and over time we'll be able to demonstrate hopefully that there'll be more active travel users on these roads. Just looking at a cost per kilometre, our scheme was broken up into two phases. Phase one being the fully segregated section that came out at overall cost of 3.56 million per kilometre, which is well within the overall average cost of 2 to 7 million per kilometre. And phase two then was primarily a junction realignment with two race crossings, and again that cost just under £500,000. Um, uh, so that's the shot. Just a quick video here of that junction. So look, I showed you the photograph before, which was very much vehicle dominated. Here you can see the race pedestrian crossing, people cross the road to go to school safely. We've introduced some landscaping in which improves the overall aesthetics of the junction. And on the left here, that's where we had to buy some land just to set back the boundary wall there, but it gives a full 4 metre wide shared space access in that section of Killarney town. Um, so just I suppose just our overall team here, we were supported by Tom Ryan, Paul McGarland, and Joe Seamber from the National Transport Authority point of view. We designed consultants, Malachy Watch and Partners from phase one, and Coir Civil Engineering were our main contractors with Kerry County Council. And just to point out, Kerry County Council, we did a lot of the undergrounding and drainage works in advance, which I suppose took a lot of the risk out of the project. Phase two was developed by our own staff here, and the contractor was Michael Lynch Civil Engineering. Just separately, we have a number of our schemes developed, and looking at the map there on the top right of the photograph, we're looking at the scheme here linking the Muckers Road, which links out to Muckers House in Killarney National Park, back to Ross Road. Again, that was also completed last year, again with a 4-metre segregated cycle lane going through the residential area and linking back onto the Muckers Road. We have at construction at the moment the Park Road scheme, which is the scheme entering from the Cork, the N22 approach along Park Road. This is a number of pedestrian crossings. Again, it will be a segregated cycle lane. It's currently under construction with the first phase to be substantially complete by the end of this year. And I suppose a key element of that project is on the screen at the bottom there, there was a traditional train bridge, which is a very tight point. We will now have a segregated underline cycle lane crossing, just utilising an existing culvert that existed under the railway line there. Look, we've other schemes planned at New Road, kicking off the planning stage very shortly, and we've schemes planning to head north to link with a lot of the playing areas and housing areas north of Killarney bypass. So I suppose we've a lot done in Killarney, but we've an awful lot more to do. So thank you very much.
That's great, David. Thanks very much for that presentation.